After hearing Modi ji's latest speech about Biharis being tortured in Tamil Nadu, I decided to investigate this national emergency personally.
तमिलनाडु में डीएमके के लोग बिहार के मेहनतकश लोगों को प्रताड़ित करते हैं.
I called, I messaged, I interacted with dozens of Bihari brothers and sisters living across Tamil Nadu. From Chennai to Coimbatore, from Tirupur to Trichy, from Madurai to Mailadurai. And guess what? Modi ji might be right. Biharis are being tortured in Tamil Nadu. Tortured by DMK folks. Tortured by Chief Minister Thiru M.K. Stalin. Tortured by his deputy Thiru Uday. Yes, tortured, harassed, mistreated by affordable health care, by functioning schools, by punctual buses, by 24/7 electricity, by clean water, by working street lights, by strong industries, by stable jobs, by a chief minister who speaks about governance, by a government that talks policy, not propaganda. And worst of all, they are being brainwashed into believing that governance is possible without communal division. No Hindu, Muslim, Christian, no mandir, masjid, church, no riots, no religious trauma. Can you imagine the trauma? You see, Tamil Nadu didn't torture Biharis, it tortures Modi ji's vote share. They say Vandorai Vajavaikum Nadu, the land that lets every visitor live and thrive, except the one with lotus. Hey! Maybe that is what frustrates Modi ji the most. That Tamil Nadu lets everyone else bloom, except his party. Migrants find jobs here. Students find education here. Entrepreneurs find opportunities here. But BJP only finds rejection here. Every election they come with new tactics. But Tamil Nadu politely says, Nandri, Vanakkam, Vele jao. Some days ago, the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, Shri R.N. Ravi.
Ravi illa, Ravi.
Okay, Ravi. Had a profound philosophical question. What is this Tamil Nadu, Poradum, Tamil Nadu, Vellum? Who is Tamil Nadu fighting against? Well, Mr. Honorable Ravi, I hope by now you have received your answer delivered straight from our Honorable Prime Minister's honorable mouth. Tamil Nadu is fighting this. This very narrative that pits one Indian against another, that tries to paint Vandarai Vajavaikum land into a land of hate towards its visitors. Many of my regular viewers often ask, bro, aren't you biased towards Thiru M.K. Stalin? Why don't you ever criticize the TMK's rule in Tamil Nadu? Fair question. Honestly, sometimes even I ask myself the same thing. Am I secretly the spokesperson? Did Brother Uday slip me a Dravidian membership card in the mail? Maybe the answer is simple. Maybe deep down, I know. Between Tamil Nadu's secular heart and Delhi's saffron tsunami, there stands only one wall. Only one checkpost, and that wall, that line of defense, is painted in black and red. Remove them and you remove the only political barrier between the self-respect and saffronization. No DMK with no regional power for Tamil Nadu. I mean right now. No black and red, then yes, saffronization. Trust me, that is not exaggeration, that is pattern recognition. Because the playbook is old. First, they divide the north and south. Then they paint every voice of federalism as separatism. Then they weaken regional parties, call them dynastic, corrupt, anti-national, till every state bows to one face, one tongue, one throne in Delhi. You see, Delhi doesn't just want power, it wants obedience. It doesn't want partnership, it wants puppets. And every state that tried to stand tall, one by one has been kneecapped. Opposition parties in Tamil Nadu often mock this narrative. They say DMK exploits Muslims, Christian, Dalit, and liberal votes by scaring them. Vote for us or BJP will come. Khale beta varna gabbar aa jayega, as if it is some grand emotional scam. They call it emotional blackmail. They call it fear politics. Let us be honest. That is not fear mongering. That is forecasting. That is political climate change warning. DMK doesn't need to whisper BJP will come. People can already hear their footsteps. Because across the Vindhyas, they have seen what happens when the lotus blooms unchecked. Textbooks rewritten, minorities cornered, voices silenced, education replaced with indoctrination. So when Modi ji says Biharis are tortured in Tamil Nadu, what he really means is my propaganda is tortured in Tamil Nadu. My idea of India is tortured in Tamil Nadu, tortured by diversity, tortured by rationalism, tortured by inclusivity, tortured by an inconvenient truth that people can live together, thrive together without being divided by religion. So dear Prime Minister, if you really want to help Biharis, build Bihar like Tamil Nadu. Don't break Tamil Nadu like Bihar. This isn't about liking a party. It is about keeping alive an idea that stands against fascism, against fundamentalism, against a factory of falsehood that is trying to rewrite the idea of Bharat itself. And if defending that makes me biased, then yes, guilty as charged. Because neutrality in times of moral crisis is not journalism, it is cowardice. You can't stay neutral when your culture, your constitution, and your classrooms are being rewritten line by line. You can't stay neutral when hate is being normalized, and you definitely can't stay neutral when your Prime Minister, the one who promised Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, is now busy dividing the Sabko himself. Mr. Modi, you are not just the Prime Minister of one ideology, one party, or one vote bank. You are the Prime Minister of India, of Bihar and Tamil Nadu, of Varanasi and Viluppuram, of the Hindi belt and the Dravidian soil. So please, don't lose the dignity of your responsibility or the desperation of your election rallies, because every time you use the Prime Minister's stage to spread suspicion instead of solutions, you don't just insult Tamil Nadu, you insult the very idea of India. India was never meant to be a choir of one voice. It was always a symphony, messy, loud, beautiful, diverse, from Kabir to Bharadiyar, from Buddha to Periyar. This land was built on questions, not obedience. But today's rulers don't like questions, they like claps. And Tamil Nadu refuses to clap blindly. That is its only crime. It fights against the arrogance that says funds for education will flow only if you bow to Hindi. It is fighting the arrogance that looks at the Tamil script, the oldest living language in the world, and still dare to say, learn our language to prove your love for the nation. हिंदी नहीं आती? क्या भारतीय रे तू? राष्ट्रभाषा नहीं सीख सकता? It is fighting the arrogance that talks of one nation, one language, but forgets that one nation was built on many languages, many hearts, many hands. It is fighting the arrogance that believes a country as vast as India can be bound by one way of thinking. It is fighting those who wish to dig up the ashes of the Manu Simriti and crown it as our constitution. It is fighting the arrogance that says Dalits should know their place. It is fighting those who quote Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, but build a system where some are born to rule and others are born to serve. It is fighting the arrogance that wants to drag India backward, from equality to entitlement, from justice to jati. It is fighting those who are trying to repaint Tiruvalluvar. It is fighting those who try to dip his white robe into the saffron. It is fighting those who quote his squirrels but betray every word they stand for.
मुझे क्रेडिट नहीं चाहिए।
It is fighting against those who try the truths of Kejadi, stay buried deep underground. It is fighting the foxes who balk delimitation. It is fighting those who want to ensure that every future government in Delhi will rise on the strength of northern votes and silence the southern states that actually drive India's GDP. And through that resistance, it fights for every state because it believes democracy is not about the size of your population, but the strength of your participation. It is fighting the attempt to convert Bharat into a head count instead of a heartbeat. It is fighting the cruelty called NEET, a so-called national exam where lots of lives are sacrificed every year. It is fighting for every Anita, Ariyalur, Tamil Nadu. May her soul rest in peace. It is fighting for every Ritu Sri, Tirupur, Tamil Nadu. May her soul rest in peace. It is fighting for every Pradeepa, Dindivanam, Tamil Nadu. May her soul rest in peace. It is fighting for every Gautam, Salem, Tamil Nadu. May his soul rest in peace. It is fighting for every Pooja, Jahatil, Telangana. May her soul rest in peace. It is fighting for every Manoj Kumar, Adilabad, Telangana. May his soul rest in peace. It is fighting for every Sadhana, Sangli, Maharashtra. May her soul rest in peace. It is fighting for the idea that exams should open doors, not close lives. It is fighting the hypocrisy of those who say, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, but build a system where the Beti's books cost more than her father's yearly income. It is fighting those who sit in Raj Bhavans but dream of being Rajas. It is fighting those who block bills, delay files, and misuse their chair to weaken a government chosen by millions. When Delhi says obey, Tamil Nadu says question. And that is the real torture, isn't it, Modi ji? If this is torture, then maybe the rest of India deserves to be tortured too. Tortured by good governance, by accountability, by secularism, by peace, by coexistence, by logic. So let us hope that the next time Modi ji says Biharis are tortured in Tamil Nadu, the whole country replies in one voice, please torture us too in the same way. We have suffered enough under hate, now let us suffer under hope. If Tamil Nadu's moral is a crime, then let progress be illegal. Let every city burn in the light of reason. Let every Indian be guilty by demanding better, of questioning louder, of loving deeper. This is Brown Enlightenment, where we torture you with functioning logic, with historical memory, and with the unbearable brightness of common sense. Tamil Nadu போராடும், Tamil Nadu வெல்லும். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே, தமிழனங்கே.